Hey everyone, this is Nick with Primetime Vinyl, and today I'm going to show you that I'm not a one-trick pony as far as genres are concerned in my collection. Not everything I listen to falls under the metal umbrella. So I'm going to give you a couple examples of things that I listen to on a regular basis that aren't metal. First up, I've got the Deer Hunter with their newest album, Anti. They're a prog rock band from Providence, Rhode Island. They also have a bit of symphonic rock mixed in there. The singer founded this band in 2005. His name's Casey Crescenzo. He sang in a band previously that was more of a post-hardcore screamo type band called The Receiving End of Sirens. This is obviously a lot different sounding. Another interesting thing about them is all of their albums follow a concept. So if you haven't heard them and you like prog rock or epic rock type stuff, check out the Deer Hunter with Anti. Next up, I've got Run the Jewels with RTJ3.
I'm Killer Mike, one half of Run the Jewels.
I'm LP, the other half.
And
don't give a fuck, and it's going pretty good.
Run the Jewels is a hip-hop group that's a blend of underground hip-hop and mainstream hip-hop. If you like bands like A Tribe Called Quest or Public Enemy at times, you would definitely like Run the Jewels. I think if you aren't super familiar with them, you may have heard them on the Black Panther soundtrack. Run the Jewels is a hip-hop group made up of LP and Killer Mike. I suggest checking out Don't Get Captured on this album. It's an amazing song. This is Run the Jewels with RTJ3. Next up, I've got Paramore's After Laughter. This album came out in 2017, and if you're only familiar with the band via their singles like Misery Business or Decode or Crush Crush Crush, this album would be a bit of a surprise to you. It sounds a lot like 80s pop music.
Don't go crying to your mama. Hey!
The lyrics are pretty dark, however, so it's a pretty weird juxtaposition, but in my opinion, that makes the album even better. My favorite song on this album is Fake Happy. If you haven't heard it, check it out. Next up, I've got Adele's 25. This album was gigantic with the hit Hello that was everywhere from Saturday Night Live to #1 on the chart. Also, they have great songs like Send My Love to Your Other Lover, and then they have Remedy as well as The River Lee, Water Under the Bridge, When We Were Younger. This album just is an album full of singles. Any one of them could have been the lead-off single and the album would have been just as strong. So check out Adele's 25. Next up, I've got Jack White's Entering Heaven Alive. Came out in 2021. It was actually the second album or one of the two albums he put out that year. I prefer this one over the other one, mostly because of the lyrical content. It's a little darker. Also, the sound of it. I love the folky parts of this album. So yeah, check out Jack White's Entering Heaven Alive.
Checkmate, bitch. See you next week.
Next up, I have Genesis with their self-titled album. The reason why I love this album so much is mostly the single Mama. That song builds tension so well, and when it releases it 3/4 of the way through the song, you really feel like you were taken on a journey. And the way that Phil Collins approaches this song vocally is really unique, I feel. The weird ticks and stuff that he has in the verses really help to build that tension. Next up, I have the Marshall Mathers LP by Eminem. This album is the album that really put him on the map and helped him get to where he is now. I prefer the Slim Shady LP, but I don't have that on vinyl. The first two albums are Eminem at his angriest, and that's why I like these albums. It's just full of piss and vinegar, and that is the Eminem that I prefer.
You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Check it out. Last but not least, I have Dustin Kenzu with his album Please Come Home. If you like folky, mostly acoustic driven music, this would be right up your alley. My favorite tracks are the title track Please Come Home, I Knew You Before, and Pistol.
You're the girl of my dreams, and a pistol it seems.
So those are some albums in my collection that don't fall under the metal umbrella. I typically do listen to a whole lot of metal, but my collection also has a lot of soft rock, classic rock, and hip hop in it. I love bands like Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, or Tom Petty's solo stuff. I also love Adele, Billie Eilish, and a lot of other bands that you might not expect to see in my collection, given that I also have Cannibal Corpse and a lot of other extreme metal, Bolt Thrower, Carcass, and stuff like that. It's not all I listen to, however. I love Billy Joel, I love Tom Petty, and the albums I showed as well. So check it out, and I hope that in your collection you have more than one genre and you're not stuck in a rut either.